Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside Jay Dog.
Mike, it's good to see you. It's been 2 weeks, but here we are. You know, a lot of shows, a lot of podcasts, a lot of people who give hot takes. They take the summer off, and it's not us because here we are.
We are here. I wanted to start out the show with a big shout out to our number one listener, Big Lou. I finally received the jerky he made, venison jerky. So I was calling it venison beef jerky. It is just venison jerky.
It's not
very
beef,
good. It's not beef. It's not beef. Great jerky. I love jerky. I just love it. It's like the easiest snack in the world. It's healthy. Lou made some great stuff, and I wanted to give him a shout out because it's delicious stuff. So
shout out to Lou for sending jerky to one of the two podcast hosts of the favorite show he listens to. I know he has a lot of time on his hands. He's retired, and he's making jerky. He's listening to podcasts. He's thinking about Mitchell Trubisky and his quarterback situation. So he's got a lot going on.
I was asking about going hunting, and I didn't realize you had to take a test to go hunt. I thought I could just get a weapon and go out with them and shoot. It's you got to take a test so you can get your license to go shoot. Supposedly our mutual friend doesn't have his license. So he's like, oh, make sure he takes the test with you so you can go out with him. So I guess you can do it. Or you can hunt a boar, like pig, whatever. You can go out there and hunt some boar without a license, I guess.
Is that the only thing you're allowed to hunt?
Without a license? Without a license, I guess you're allowed to hunt boar, which not as good as venison, if you've ever
This is very... No. Well, I've had pork. Is pork boar?
No, the venison is not the venison. It's just such a different type of meat. It's super gamey and you really taste it. It's not like the pork you get from the store. Totally different.
I actually like pork. I don't know about boar, but you make a good point that you need to pass a test to go hunting.
Yeah.
But apparently in many, many states, Mike, you can just buy a gun and kill people without taking a test.
Yeah. Really, really weird laws out here. So
you can't kill the animals, but you can kill people.
Yeah. Not good. So
got it.
Yeah.
America, we're doing great.
All right. I wanted to start out. I have one thing. I didn't know anything about it. I read the headline and it said Dustin Johnson reportedly got $125 million for the Live series. And I saw this, and then I saw people were dropping him from stuff or not paying him. What is this thing and why is he doing it? Explain it.
It's a big day. It's a big day when we start with the golf topic, and I love it. Yeah. So Dustin Johnson.
I could have started with hockey because we are in the playoffs, basketball playoffs, but we can start here. We can start slow.
It's a show of niche sports today, so stay tuned. So Dustin Johnson, better known as Paulina Gretzky's husband, right? She's more famous than him, hopefully. Yeah. He's won the Masters. He's won a ton of PGA Tour events. He's one of the best, 20 to 30, maybe one of the best 40 golfers of all time in the history of golf.
He really dropped pretty quickly. 20, maybe 40.
Maybe 40, top 40 just to be safe. I'm not counting his majors right now. So he's one of the best to ever play, and he's in his prime. He's in his 30s. He's still winning tournaments. And what happened here is the PGA Tour, for the first time ever, is getting a real group to compete against them, a competitor that is going to pay big purses and have events. And the idea for this new tour called Live Golf is to make it more lucrative to play less. And you're guaranteed these payouts. And so Dustin Johnson was guaranteed $125 million. He can stop practicing today, Mike. He can stop grinding. He can stop trying to win tournaments. He's going to get that check no matter what. He might get extra checks if he wins and plays better. Sure. The reason that he's dropped, all of his sponsors are dropping him. RBC was one of his big sponsors. Yeah. They took their logo off his bag, and whatever's on his shirt normally would come off. All these sponsors think it's toxic to be connected to any golfer that is going to play the Live Golf Tour. And this goes back to what Phil Mickelson did with the Saudis. It's all Saudi backed, and the Saudis, they commit murder. Possibly, if you're gay or you do very normal things, they will kill you for it. And they are terrible, terrible people. And yet these golfers are saying, I don't care about my morals. I care about my money. And they're going to play this new tour. And the PGA Tour is taking a hard stance. And so they're saying Dustin Johnson and everyone else, and there are other players who you've heard of on the list. Yeah. The PGA Tour is saying you are not allowed to come back to our tour if you go play that tour. You're banned. You're out. And these guys are saying, okay, that's fine. And now the last shoe to drop, I'll just leave you with this, is We don't know if they'll ever be allowed to play in the majors again, which is a crazy thing. Like golf is all
Yeah.
about the majors. The U.S. Open's coming up, the Open Championship, the Masters. Dustin Johnson, by winning the Masters, is allowed to play the Masters for his entire life, the rest of his life, unless he's banned, which could actually happen. So it's crazy.
So, all right, I got a lot of questions. What is this Saudi based as well? So, Live, was it different than Phil Mickelson's?
It's the same one. Live is
Same one, okay.
basically rich Saudi people starting a competitive golf tour across the world.
Is this worldwide? Do they have to? Are they U.S. based? Like the U.S. Open is obviously in the U.S. Is this all over the world, or what's their deal here?
There will be events in the U.S., but most events will not be in the U.S. because it is a worldwide tour.
And then my next question is, will they still be on the rankings of golfers? Like, will he still be ranked if he's not officially on the tour? On like PGA
No, it would
Tour?
not be an official world golf event, and they would not get world golf points and not be ranked.
So what other big names are jumping over?
I don't have the list in front of me. Lee Westwood, Ian Poulter are a few. See if you can pull up the list while I talk more about it. Get the live golf twist. I didn't know you were going to start with this topic. Phil Mickelson is not playing so far, and Phil didn't even play in the PGA Championship recently. Remember last year he won at 50 years old, the oldest major champion ever. He couldn't come back and defend his throne because he's so scared of all the questions about what he said.
Sure.
But it's interesting. Phil is getting all these questions and the hot topics, and Dustin's just staying silent and going straight to the tour. I know Lee Westwood and Ian Poulter are a few other golfers.
Yeah, Lee
involved.
Westwood. Richard Bland, Sergio Garcia.
Sergio Garcia is another Masters champion.
So I'm guessing it's like they're gonna get a lot more money. I mean, the list is kind of, I think it keeps like updating, but it's like Rory McIlroy reacts to the list of names. So all right, I always like alternative venues of something, right? Like I want to see the XFL succeed. I want these things to go, and it takes a while for the momentum, right? Like you're like. Basketball was not what it used to be today, right? Like it evolved over the course of like 50 years. Now with this, they're trying to buy the talent. Does that mean anybody can jump over, or are you going to have to be ranked in the PGA, or how does it work? Because they're just taking a whole bunch of people. And if Dustin Johnson's the best one, I'd be like, screw it. Like, why not go over there? I could win every tournament and win a whole bunch of money and not play as much. So are they playing as many games?
Many less tournaments. So it might be like 6 to 8 events a year, where on the PGA Tour, they play every single week, 52 weeks. You might play 38 or 40 weeks if you're a member of the PGA Tour to make your sponsors happy, to make enough money for the year. Now they might only need to play 6 to 8 events. And yeah, they might be across the world, but they're all getting paid plenty to take the private jet and be as comfortable as they want when they go.
So the first one is June 9th to 11th at the Centurion Club in Hertford, or I can't even say it.
Hartford?
Yeah, I think so.
That's next week.
Yeah, so it's next week. So I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting the way they're doing it, but it's weird that the PGA doesn't want them back and won't take them back if they're on top of their game. And it's just
that makes sense to me though, because like if you can't leave to go to a competitor and then come back, right? Like if you're at NBC and you go to CBS, like NBC isn't going to just let you come back whenever you want. You're not with NBC.
Sure.
You're either with us or you're against us, type of thing. So I get what the tour is doing, and the tour has to take this hard line, Mike, to protect themselves, because if they don't, there's going to be many more people because the paydays are much bigger. So what happens if the best 10 to 20 golfers in the world all join this tour? The PGA Tour is at risk here. They're the ones who need to step up and try to maintain who they are.
I guess I was seeing it more. I was like, in my mind, you're describing it like WCW versus WWF when those two things are around. Like you would not see Goldberg playing in the WWF, and you would not see The Rock playing in WCW. But to me, I felt like it was more like the NFL. Like the NFL, you can watch on CBS, NBC, ESPN, all this stuff. Like, hey, I can bounce around. I'm just going to go bounce around because I'm the talent. I'm going to go show myself off in all these different scenarios. So why couldn't I bounce around like that? Because it seems almost like a monopoly. Like, is the PGA Tour, is that the only tour that's out there? You went on mute. You're on mute. There you are.
No, yeah. I lost for a second. Something happened, but that's live broadcasting. Can you repeat your question for me?
Yes. Why can't? All right. I almost forgot my question. I wanted them to bounce around. Did you hear my WWF analogy?
Yes. So they can't bounce around because they're different tours.
Sure.
They're different.
Does it not seem like a monopoly to you? That's what I'm asking. It seems like a monopoly to me to say you can only play here and this is the only place you can play. Is there not other tournaments or things they can play outside?
They can play sanctioned events, but these are unsanctioned. It's like if you play in the NFL or the NBA, you can't also play somewhere else. You can't play in the XFL and the NFL at the same time,
Sure.
right? You're in one or the other, and
Yeah.
that's who you are. This is just the controversy around the money backed by terrible people who are murderers. And so that's why the brands are all dropping them. And the tour is trying to hold on to be the number one tour. So they're banning anyone who goes. You can see why people are trying to distance themselves from it.
And what's the, let's say, average golfer? Let's say top 50 golfer. What are they getting paid by the PGA yearly?
Well, if they don't make a cut all year, if you miss a cut
Yeah.
every year, you make $0. So you have to earn your money every event. So about half the guys are cut. You know, it's a 4-day golf event, Thursday to Sunday. After you play 2 rounds on Friday, half the field is cut and they go home and they make no money. Now, if you do that 10 weeks in a row, that's really expensive because you have flights, you have caddy, you have a rental car, you have all these things you have to pay for yourself.
You have sponsors too, right?
But Mike, yeah, if you make just one cut and you barely make the cut and then you shit the bed on the weekend, you still make 30 to 40,000 that week. So that's the bare minimum by just making one cut. So as you play and as you play a little bit better, you're going to make more money. To make 125 million, I'd have to look it up. Dustin Johnson in his career, I don't think has ever won 125 million throughout his entire career of 12 or 15 years. And he's won 20 some PGA Tour events.
How about earned or made? I don't know, maybe made this year. So Johnson ranks 3rd behind Woods and Mickelson, highest paid golfer with 40 million based earnings between June 20th, June 2020 to May 2021. It was included 16 million off the course appearances by TaylorMade, Adidas, Body Armor, blah blah blah. So
and he's made 200 all that too.
He's made 200 million in his career.
And that's in what, like 15 years of playing the tour. And I don't know how many years it will take him to make this 125 guaranteed, but it's guaranteed. Like I said, he doesn't have to practice. He doesn't have to try to win anymore. And that's the whole point of the tour is you have to keep it up and kind of maintain a level of good play or else you're not going to make it. Ricky Fowler's a name who you've heard of before. He used to win tournaments. He's still in this prime. He's younger than us and he sucks. And now it doesn't matter that he's famous and that he has fans and that he wears orange clothing and people buy it because he sucks and he can't make a cut and he has nowhere to play. And that's just one example of you have to maintain your level on the PGA Tour. And what these guys that are going to the other tour are saying is, it doesn't matter how I play, it's guaranteed.
Do you think you'll see? I don't know. It's weird because like I get it. Like if you, Jeremy, if you all of a sudden got paid $100 million from the Sports Hangover, would the show be better or worse? What do you think? Like, if you got
it would
paid,
be better because I would give you all my time. All my time, Mike. It's all yours.
I don't know. I guess I'm thinking like they'll be more relaxed, so maybe they'll have more fun with it, and maybe it can be a different type of golf that is more towards the casual golfer, like we golf. Maybe get a few beers and hang out, maybe a little bit looser. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't identify a reason why this will work because they're putting out so much money and the fields are so limited. I don't think it'll work because there's not many stars playing it. And I think the PGA Tour is not broken. I think, sure, it has to evolve like so many other sports that we talk about on the show. Every sport must continue evolving, and most are slow to do it. And golf is probably number one on that list. But is the PGA Tour so broken that we have to have competitive tours to it and have to get players playing other places? I don't know why this is all happening. To be honest.
But don't you think it's better to have a competition than no competition? Like if Netflix had no competition, we'd be getting like, is it cake shows every single week? But now they're like, guess what? We actually have to make some high quality content here and step it up. So I think it's good that they're adding something in, and maybe I'll tune it in. I mean, we'll be together that weekend. Maybe we watch it.
I was wondering where it's going to air, but apparently it's on YouTube to start as their rights deal. So
YouTube has a lot of viewers. It's great. It's great on YouTube.
It's hard to monetize it. We'll see.
Well, it could work. You got anything? I got a few more stories.
Yeah. Did you see the biggest fantasy football controversy of all time? Do you have a Scandal City drop? Can you play it?
I got Scandal. Yeah. Where's Scandal City?
Time to dig up the dirtiest stories around the sport world in this week's Scandal City.
First, Mike, it started on the baseball field during batting practice in Cincinnati. The Giants are playing the Reds. Jock Peterson's in the outfield warming up. Tommy Pham's in the outfield warming up. Tommy Pham walks over to Jock Peterson. You're going to wake up for this and slaps him across the face, Will
Love
Smith
it.
style, in the outfield. The bench is cleared. The teams go running out. What's the deal? There's no further altercation because Jock Peterson says, you're not supposed to fight. So we're all like, what's going on here? Tommy Pham gets suspended. After the game, we find out from Jock Peterson. He explains that they're in a fantasy football league together. And Jock Peterson picked up a guy who has actually had COVID or was on IR or something like that just to stash him on his IR off the free agents. And apparently Tommy Pham didn't like that. And so Tommy Pham texted him in the group text when it happened, like last fall. Jock Peterson like made a meme about how the Padres suck. It's the team Tommy Pham was on at that time. It was like, you suck. Here's the Padres compared to these other teams. So he's making fun of Tommy. He doesn't care about Tommy not liking the fantasy football situation. Yeah. And so Tommy Pham went up and slapped him for what he did. And Tommy Pham admitted to it. He said it was fantasy football beef. He said that Tommy Pham, I guess he said to the reporters, he's a big dog in Vegas and they play for a lot of cheese in their fantasy football league. So apparently there's a lot of money at play. And after this little IR situation, I guess it was 8 weeks into the season last year, Tommy Pham actually dropped out of the league. So he wasn't even eligible to win the money. And there's just so many fantasy football like storylines running through here that we can relate to. We're in ridiculous leagues with ridiculous people too.
Yeah. I hate fantasy football. I think I like thinking about playing fantasy football. I'm being punished this year. I don't want to go through with the punishment, but I have to.
Really are.
There's definitely a loophole that I'm figuring out for this punishment, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah,
would you ever resort to physical violence against a fantasy football member?
Well, fantasy football, there's not enough cheese on the line for this fantasy football league to be like. I just hate it. I hate fantasy football. I automate everything in my fantasy.
You
football.
Hate it from January to July. You don't hate it from August to December.
I think I do though. I hate because I'm gambling. Then I'm like, oh, my team. There's too many strings pulling me different ways. I just want to focus on real gambling. So it's annoying, but the league's been around for a while, and I'm gonna go through with the punishment. I have to go stay at IHOP for 24 hours. Which, by the way, normal IHOPs don't have beer, so that's why I have to do this punishment in Vegas because that IHOP will definitely have beer.
Do you know that, or you're just guessing about that IHOP service?
No, I have somebody that works at the corporate company, and she checks all the food nutrition and everything. She's like, IHOP doesn't have beer. I don't know what IHOP you're going to, so I got to find an IHOP with beer so I can take it down. A few. Maybe
I'm sure you could bring 12 Bud Lights and cans into an IHOP and just drink your own while you eat the pancakes.
Yeah, but you gotta somehow. I feel like I have to document myself eating every single pancake, right? So it's gonna be tough.
It has to be proven. Well, me and the mutual friend will be there.
I know you'll be there. All right, I got a few stories. The one I thought this was kind of cool. I don't know if we talked about it. Amazon's looking to get Pat McAfee for a Manning brother type broadcast on Amazon Prime, and I really loved it. I feel like if this is the way we're going, I do like these alternative broadcasts. I just worry that a lot of people aren't going to be able to find this game because a lot of people, you need a smart TV. Most smart TVs now have these apps on it, right? Your TV.
You don't need a smart TV. You could also have a dongle like Roku.
Well, it's still, you're making your TV smart, but most TVs that are sold today have some sort of annoying ass interface. They're like, oh, this TV needs to be updated. It's like, I just want a TV with no smart interior in it. I want to add my own thing to it.
Which is going backwards in time, right?
Not really. It's kind of, I kind of like it. Where you just you have this device, this monitor in front of me is just a dumb monitor. There's nothing to it. I plug in whatever I want to it. There's no updates. It's never going to go out of style or slow down on me because it needs a software update. It just plugs in and it works and the clarity's there. I don't want my TV to go out of date. This TV behind me might just go 5 years from now. It's it's done.
You want to name names? You want to name a brand?
Yeah, LG. Really annoying with their pop-ups on all their damn TVs. This TV needs an update. Oh, this is out of service. Blah, blah, blah. It's I don't need that. Just let me watch what I want to watch.
I like my TCL Roku TV so far.
solid TVs. They're good.
Solid.
They're great.
Back to your point, Pat McAfee. Apparently, he was interested, or there was talk about him being in the booth, which Kirk Herbstreit is doing. But Pat McAfee said he has to give up his daily radio show to spend all the preparation time that it would be needed to be a broadcaster. So instead, he's not going to do that right now. Amazon might actually start streaming his popular radio show, which is also on video now. I think it's just on YouTube at the moment. They have Aaron Rodgers throughout the season and that kind of thing. So look out for that. By the way, did you see the match on Wednesday? Aaron Rodgers, my guy, drilled a putt at the end on the last hole to win.
I didn't watch it. I just saw some of the banter between everybody, and I kind of liked that. It seems like Brady and Rodgers, you could tell they're just kind of like don't give a fuck. But the other two guys, they're kind of like they're a little quiet and like a little timid. It was a very interesting vibe. Like they
You
weren't
forget
ready.
how young they still are. Like Mahomes is like 24 and Allen's
Yeah.
like 23. They're still so young. They're kids and they kind of act like it compared to Brady and Rodgers. The weirdest thing for me is Brady and Rodgers on a team. And so they're like high-fiving and giving strategy. And then they go to the last hole and it's all tied. And I think it was Rodgers hit the great shot and they're playing best ball. So they each have like a 12-foot putt. It's breaking to win. And Brady saw the line a certain way. And there's a great conspiracy because Aaron Rodgers starts talking Brady out of his line that Rodgers wanted his teammate, Tom Brady, to miss the putt on purpose so Rodgers could come through and be the hero and not let Brady be the hero. And I just love the conspiracy theory where even when they're on the same team for one day in their entire lives, they're still maybe not on the same page.
And they did the match last year, right? Was it Brady too? Or it was just Rodgers and
I think that was Brady and Rodgers on separate teams, and they each had a golfer at that time. Normally they give us golfers. This time it was 4 quarterbacks. So the golf was much worse, but the banter was pretty good.
I'm guessing Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers won, right? So how were the scores of both teams? Like how did Josh Allen and Patrick do?
Josh Allen played terrible, but he almost made like 100-foot putt on the last hole that would have ended up tying or pushing to extra holes, but he just barely missed it. He played terrible. Mahomes carried Josh Allen. So Josh Allen thanked Mahomes for riding on his back for all the holes. And then Brady and Rodgers, they're both pretty good, but they have more years. The young guys are never as good golfers as the old guys. We're going to get better with age, Mike.
We'll see. My back's getting bad, so I don't know if that's going to get any better. The next I saw this that NFL was going to offer like NFL Plus for $5 a month. There's no advantage to it. There's nothing. I read it. I'm like, oh, this could be like no. It was weird.
That's like how you drop like the fact and then your commentary like in the same sentence. They're gonna do it for $5 a month, and there's no value.
There's no value. You're basically only able to stream the TVs in your local market, which you get for free over your antenna, which you can just plug an antenna into a smart TV and get free over the air. But it didn't make it like where's this NFL Red Zone? When did they announce like the NFL Red Zone packages to other networks? Because I don't want to pay Hulu whatever $15 extra a month to have NFL Red Zone on there. I would just want it standalone. I'd pay $20, $30 a month just for NFL Red Zone and use it.
Be available on all distributors, right? It shouldn't be just on one. It was on YouTube TV a few years ago. Then it went to Hulu. I feel like every August they just announce where it's going to be, and it's somewhere else every year instead of just being simple to find. And that's all people want. The NFL just doesn't get like we don't want to. I live in LA, so I need to watch Chargers and Rams games on my phone. Like that's not what I'm here for. I'm here for Red Zone.
It's just weird. Do you think they don't want people to watch Red Zone? Because it kind of, do you think the networks don't want it? Because it defeats the purpose of having all these big
they
brands?
try to like hurt it in ways, but the cat's out of the bag. We're never going back.
No, you can never go back. It's too good.
Especially like the attention span of young people, like younger than us, like the TikTok generation, Gen Z. They have no attention span. You think we have no attention span? They have no attention span.
TikTok is pretty good. It's very addicting. I'm like on it all the time now.
Speaking of no attention span, are you watching any NBA finals, NBA playoffs?
I watched a little bit of the game yesterday. I was kind of switching back between the hockey game and the basketball game. I'm just not into basketball this year. Like I don't really care about Boston or Warriors. It's kind of cool that the Warriors are back after like Clay was hurt for years. But other than that, I'm like, I don't know if I care. I don't know why. I'm really trying to get into it. Hockey, I'm loving. Hockey's the best hockey I've seen. All right.
It's a good finals matchup. We should be watching. So last night I checked the score as I normally do in the third quarter. Am I going to watch the fourth quarter? Well, the Warriors were up like 18 or 20 heading into the fourth. So Mike, I didn't watch because I knew the Warriors would win. And the Celtics had the most incredible fourth quarter, maybe in NBA Finals history, and they beat the Warriors in Golden State to win game 1.
I I wish I could bet on basketball. I don't know it well enough. It is a slow drag throughout like the first and second, and like, all right, we're getting to the third. Like maybe something's going on I want to watch, but I don't know. Hockey is so good right now. I don't want to turn it off. Like, I'm not even an Edmonton or Abs fan, and I'm watching that game. It's some of the craziest hockey I've seen. It's fast, physical, and I don't think any of the teams, like I don't think Tampa or the Rangers, whoever wins that series, can beat either of those teams because they are
That's
just
crazy because you're a Lightning fan and you're in the mix there. I thought you'd be watching the Western finals because you're so locked on the East. So it's like, oh, every night I'll just watch hockey. But you're saying it's just great hockey. It's different.
yeah, every night. Every night there's a hockey game on this week.
Right.
So it's like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every day. So tonight's East Coast, you got the Lightning and Rangers tonight. I don't know. I think it's great hockey. I'm having a lot of fun with hockey this year. If the Lightning make it, I'm leaving town and I'm going to watch one of the games because I felt like the last 2 years, I was telling you this, felt like we've been in a bubble. I sat with you one year, I think, and they won the Stanley Cup, and it doesn't feel real. I want to like make it feel real. Like I want to go experience this, even if it's just flying out to Colorado and like being in a bar with hockey fans. I think it would be a lot of fun.
That's what you want to do? I thought you want to go to the game.
Well, I do want to go to the game, but I mean, it depends how much the game is to get into the games. But I just want to I want to feel it because I think it's like, I feel like I miss it. Like I want to be excited and remember it. Like I can't even tell you where I was when they won the 2020 Stanley Cup, let alone the 2021. Maybe you were there, maybe not. I don't know.
No, I was. We were just at the house and it was like a normal night. You had people over. It was just
Yeah.
a normal night. Nothing special.
Just a normal night. No one cared. It was Stanley Cup. No big deal.
So would you go to Tampa though? Would you want the home environment, or are you okay being the road team, like going into Colorado or Edmonton, places that would be very scary for the opposition?
I feel like I imagine there'll be cheaper tickets in Tampa, but it would be kind of cool because I think you maybe like bond more with those Tampa fans that are actually out there in Colorado.
Yeah.
Like they're a little more diehard. Like, what are you doing out here? So I think it might be like more fun to be at home, but it would be a different experience if you're away. But so we'll see. I don't know. I have a ticket out there for the 4th of July weekend, so I could bump it up and maybe fly out, a week early and go see a game, or, sit near a bar with somebody watching the game. I just want to be there. I want to experience some active playoff sports because I think playoffs are the best. Regular season, it's okay. Not as exciting.
Especially for most sports, but especially baseball, basketball, hockey, playoffs are so much better, especially in person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So there's no basketball. I'm not going to go watch any basketball games, but definitely hockey.
Okay.
You got anything else?
I think we can wrap it up.
All right, let's wrap it up. Check out thesportshangover.com.
You've been working on your new slogan to end the show, right?
I've been trying to. I really can't think of anything. I was thinking of just until next time. Just end it there. Is that okay? Is that boring?
I don't know.
Until next time.
That's okay.
Is that not good?
I think 10 or 11 years of creativity on this show leads me to say that we can do better.
Okay. Well, then until next time, I will come up with another.
That works.
I will come up with another slogan for the end of the show. But until next time.